There we go. How's it going, guys? We're going to be playing some campaign series Middle East today, folks. And in this particular fight in the Yom Kippur War, how you doing, Jackson? We are going to be attempting to stop the Egyptians, or really halt the Egyptians from taking the Suez Canal area. So it's quite a responsibility, of course. We're going to jump in and see if we can accomplish it. We're going to be playing some campaign. Now, this is the first time I've actually played this particular battle, but it's part of a much larger campaign in the Yom Kippur War, which encompassed Israel against a number of different Arab nations, but I think here in this particular part, we're actually facing Egypt. Now, Egypt will certainly have its own line of tanks, there's no doubt about that, but I'm really more concerned about their commando squads. These commando squads can actually get behind our lines, fire off anti-tank guided missiles, any number of other baddies. And of course, we'd like to avoid that if at all possible. Now, I'm going to move these convoys together because I think that's somewhat safer. Some of these guys can move a little farther than others, so let's actually just separate the Jeep from the rest of the convoy here. Now, they have men inside, or at least some of them do. In fact, if you look over here, that little helmet icon lets us know that there's actually men inside this vehicle. Is it the war against Egypt? Yes, exactly. That is it. Pieter, how you doing, buddy? That's exactly it. I think there was also a part of the war that was against Syria, if I'm not mistaken. But this particular battle is focused on Egypt. Okay, folks, we're going to end the turn. So just to give you guys an idea of the map here, and yes, we can get even this kind of view in the game. We can get NATO markers if we want. Romani is one of the towns. We've got the Suez Canal kind of to our north here. And essentially, we're expecting the Arab League to attack from this area and smash us over here. So we want to get these tanks into position and just really get ready for anything. So I like to get really nice and close here because the game is very beautiful. And yes, this game is ancient, but it's still very pretty for what it can offer. All right, guys, let's end the turn. We'll move that HQ up, no worries. Is the Soviet Union in this? I don't know. There are so many scenarios. It wouldn't surprise me if maybe there were like some Soviet agents in some of the missions, but I don't think they're in this directly, no. There are many belligerents that work with the Soviets. All right, no contact yet, folks. So again, I'm going to send kind of this vehicle forward, just scout ahead a little bit with the scout vehicle over to the Romani area. Oh boy! Yep, we just got eliminated there. I did not even see where the shot came from. I'm pretty sure it came from this general area, but we didn't get a visual on any of the enemies. So first things first, let me see if I can dismount any of... Nope, we don't have any soldiers up here, although we could bring some forward. Here's what I'm going to do. Just going to start kind of moving the tanks around and essentially surrounding any of the potential escape zones that the enemy might have. Yeah, that's rough, man. This game will really make you jump sometimes, despite it not being, you know, visually the most attractive game. Here we go, boys. These are all Centurion tanks, by the way, folks. Series Middle East today, folks. And in this particular fight in the Yom... Let's see. Now, we obviously could take fire here, but I think our numbers are going to overwhelm them. Nonetheless, I'm gonna leave the tanks right here for now while I bring up the rest of the armor here. Just try to surround this neighborhood. So if the enemy fires at us, we're going to have return fire that will absolutely decimate their units. Here we go. Fingers crossed. Yup, they're opening up. They're opening up. No effect there on the Centurion, thankfully, but pretty soon we should be able to see them, and they're almost certainly hiding in these neighborhoods. What the Egyptians have actually done is sent forward special forces squads to remain around these victory points. You can see they didn't actually take the victory point. We still have our flag over it, but they're preparing for us to go through so they can fire anti-tank missiles, things of that nature. Good old Centurion, the basis of the South African Armored Forces. Absolutely, Pieter. 100%. And from what I understand, this, I don't know if it was the South Africans trained the Israelis or the Israelis trained the South Africans, but there was certainly some mutual assistance there from both countries. Push forward. And as you can see, some of these Nagamachas have infantry inside, so I do want to dismount them fairly soon. But, oh, damn it, they didn't remain on the road. My apologies. We're still going to try to get them to the battlefield. We'll do the same with the Jeep. Really, the Jeep is great for just a scout. Unfortunately, this Jeep is actually an HQ unit as well, so I want to get that HQ unit much closer to the rest of the armor. It's not disrupted, but for some reason, he's unable to move. He might be stalled. All right, guys, turning it over to Egypt. Let's see just what they're going to send at us. That's that HQ that's on the way. Not too concerned. All right, guys. One movement at a time. Damn nice shot. For sure, we're going to have enemies in this area. Let's push through. Actually, now we can simply open fire, folks. I'm going to have every single one of our tanks target that unknown, but I suspect it's an RPG team. And we completely destroyed it. Absolutely eliminated. But we need to be careful here, because if we look at the map, there are only two locations we really have to hold, and that's going to be Romani, as well as, I believe, this town over here to the west. I'm not even sure if it's a town. Just the airfield area. So I will continue to advance, but I suspect we're going to be facing a lot more Egyptians as we push forward here. So let's just be careful. We'll have some guys continue on the road. The rest will continue over here to the north. Unfortunately, you can't really move over terrain like this with tracked vehicles in this game unless you want to take 10 turns to do it. Little controversial, eh? Here we go. Just sending a single tank forward. So I really want to get a visual on these guys, but now that I spotted them... just going to use overwhelming force. There they are. Once again, same deal. And we reduced some and disrupted the unit. A disruption is always good. But in terms of reduction, I was hoping we would get a flea. We didn't damage them nearly enough to completely destroy them. So let's keep firing. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Really just trying to spread these units through the town and also continue the advance. We don't want to be stalled here, and we want to make sure that we stop any approaching Egyptian units that could be a problem. Grab these guys, and I'm going to stop about right here. Might be overreaching our boundaries just a little bit. Oh boy. See where that shot came from? And for sure, it looks like they're going to have units right here. In fact, we're going to head into that area, and sure enough, spotted some enemy units here. We don't have enough information to actually give these guys a name or a designation, but I suspect it would be something like Republican Guard, Egyptian Republican Guard. In any case, same deal over here. As soon as we spot a target, all of our Centurions are going to focus. You know, safety is more important than speed. So let's take our time to stop here and open fire. And incredibly no effect. So evidently they've done their urban combat training because they're pretty well hidden in that village. Wonder if we can still fire at that fleeing enemy. I'm going to try. Oh, that's right. This is our mortar half-track. So we're going to call in a mortar there. We'll also call in a mortar over here. No, it looks like we only have one shot. Good enough. Fire at the fleeing enemy and hopefully damage them beyond repair. What I also want to do is I want to get these half-tracks back on the road. So I really want to be able to drop off some infantry so that they can kind of advance ahead of our tanks. They don't like to stay on the road. Alright, we're gonna go off-road anyway. We're almost there. One more turn and we'll be able to drop some infantry off. And let's also bring the command HQ and just get him as close as we can to the town of Romani. It is incredible. Yes, absolutely, man. I'm gonna make a separate video, just showing people the different possibilities in this game in terms of, like, wars, you know, different, factions you can play as. It's pretty amazing. It really is. I've been very surprised. It's a game that I played a little bit, you know, years ago, and I just recently picked it back up, and I didn't know what I was missing. All right, let's see if these guys can't join the Centurion tank group, because I want to have these beefy tank groups as we advance. We're for sure going to be facing Egyptian tanks at one point or another. Let's end that turn. Okay, they're starting to reveal themselves. And again, it's mostly anti-tank units from what I can see. My biggest concern is that they go for the airfield. There's our mortar attack, although unfortunately no enemies there. They've all gone over here to the north of the town. But yeah, we need to get to the airfield quickly because the enemy could be taking that. I believe that's the airfield location. Yep. So let's proceed ahead with this tank group. Let's actually get to this grove right here and just kind of wait and stop and see if we can see any enemies. Is it hard to get into, Greg? Oh, let me put it this way. I learned it. So I think most people can learn it. The good thing is also that a lot of the missions come with a complexity level thing. Wow, talk about a lot of ambushers here, guys. We're not seeing them yet. There we go. It's just going to be an RPG team, and once again, I'm going to engage. But let me put it this way, like, this particular fight, I think it's considered a difficulty level of 10, so we have to use air support, we have to use reinforcements, and that's pretty much it. So that stuff's pretty easy to learn. There are some more advanced things, like, for instance, there's a commando one, where you actually have to call in, like, helicopter air support, helicopter extraction, and I think that's like a level 30 in difficulty. Anyway, there's a bunch of different difficulty levels throughout all of the different scenarios and campaigns, which is really great. So it might look as intimidating as like Command Modern Air Naval Operations. In fact, when I zoom out, you can see we've even got NATO counters if we want, but it really isn't. It really isn't. It's a very approachable game. I think it is. Maybe I'll do some tutorials and get some additional views. Get those bits and views I've been dreaming of. All right, let's push forward even more. Son of a bitch. So thankfully our guy retreated, did not get killed, but he got scared for sure. And we've absolutely got enemies over here and enemies over here, RPG teams, etc. So change of plans. I'm gonna start moving this way. Sort of splitting up these tank groups. First of all, we should destroy that enemy unit right there. That's likely going to be an anti-tank unit, and you can see we've reduced and disrupted it. Oh, a bit loud. Cheers. I will lower a little bit. Yeah, I was worried about that. This is a very loud game. It's very loud. All right, there we go. Thank you, man. And we eliminated that anti-tank team. Beautiful. Now, this is not an anti-tank team. Oh, actually, it is. I see the RPG. Let's open fire on him. I'm gonna see if we could just focus on him with a single tank so that we could proceed forward. Because as of right now, the enemy's kind of keeping us occupied around the Romani area. Now, thankfully, we don't have the pressure of having to capture these points. They're already under our control. But the Egyptians are trying to overrun us with anti-tank special ops units. And we need to put a stop to that. No effect. They are hiding really well amongst the houses here. Disrupted. Not bad. So they won't be moving next turn at the very least. Okay. Let's grab this group of Centurions. We're on the offensive. Even if we get shot at least we'll know where the enemy is. Beautiful, just eliminated the anti-tank team. There's going to be some more anti-tank teams for sure, but that is a decent start, if there ever was one. So I'm actually going to start probing north, just in an effort to locate additional AT teams. And these guys we're just going to kind of push forward. So we're splitting the tank teams up a little bit. And the reason being, we're being fired at from multiple locations. So I want to put a stop to those AT locations as we make our way to the airport over here to the west. Man, that airport is pretty far. Where is it? Ilaris. It's not horrible. It's right over here. Do you guys see that flag? Right there. You're playing War on the Sea while watching. Nice. I really do want to play some more War on the Sea, but they don't seem to update the game with any new maps or campaigns. So I'm just kind of waiting for something. I also like the markers. Like, in games this old, it's pretty rare to see that. Like, you see the markers of a burned vehicle. I just think it's a nice touch. Yeah, let's get this APC team up. And what I'm probably going to do is with a few of these infantry units, I'm going to unload them in Romani just to defend the area. Take care, man. In fact, we could probably start now, if they have enough movement points. Yeah, so he doesn't have enough movement points to let the infantry out yet. But we'll start splitting up this infantry team. Or it's going to be an infantry team. If we don't get destroyed. There we go. And I think we have another shot with this tank. I almost didn't see it because of the burning vehicle. We will have to push forward with him just a bit to get a shot. No, he's already moved. And let's get the HQ right over here amongst the houses. Although this wasn't the best move because I'm starting to see enemy teams down here to the south. That could become a problem. Luckily, these troop carriers are outfitted with machine guns. Exactly. Do what you gotta. Coffee tea, that's the kind. No, I am having some coffee today. I'm probably gonna make another cup here in a second, but I'm down to 2 cups. Mostly the tea that I'm drinking now is black tea. So what I do, I think I mentioned to most people, is I take the black tea, just put it in a plastic bottle, put it in the fridge. It's delicious. Really good replacement for soda, all that garbage. So for those of you just joining us, we are playing the Yom Kippur War. And we're actually headed towards the Suez Canal to stop the Egyptians from advancing whatsoever. Let's end the turn there. Oh boy. They're continuing their anti-tank attacks, and pretty effective, actually. As long as we can stop them from taking these locations, then we should be just fine. Alright, folks. Proceeding towards the airfield, of course. I'm going to keep checking this area for anti-tank. See, I suspect they're going to be on this high plateau because we can't actually get in there with our tanks. So what I'm going to do, move forward with the troop carrier. Let's dismount. And as you can see, we've got an HMG here. I was kind of hoping for an infantry team, but we'll move them up here on the bluffs to see if we can't spot any enemy anti-tank teams. And we're going to do the same with these guys. We're just going to leave these guys here, move the infantry forward, and just start sort of scouting this area. No worries, my friend. How you doing, Texas? Always good to see you, man. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to join the larger group, because as far as I'm concerned, it's like a turkey shoot right now. We've got to get out of this area. So let's just grab this group and head as fast as we can towards the actual airfield. Trying to get to the next group of trees. Somebody's slowing us down. That's okay. Yeah, it's this guy right here. We're still advancing. To make this not as easy to target, we will start sort of moving these groups away. And look at that. So we know for sure there's going to be AT over here. Let's try and find it. Onwards and upwards, folks. How are you doing, Eric? Good to see you, man. I'm glad you said something because now my phone is not charging. Come on, man. All right, there we go. Yeah, I'm almost certain they're going to be in this brush area. Let's try to get up some more of the Nagmashas here. Is this game made by John Tiller, God rest his soul, asks Ifrafa. I don't believe so. I don't believe so, but it wouldn't surprise me. Alright, there we go. It's got some good old-fashioned armored infantry here. And these are the guys I want to take a look at these bluffs, because I'm almost certain that some of the AT teams are going to be in these bluffs. They're sort of like slightly high plateaus, so tanks can't get up them, of course, but infantry can climb up there. I want to keep the HQ back here, because he's going to get shot at if we're not careful. And since we do still have enemies near our line here, I think we need to keep a few of these infantry behind. And let's also engage any of the enemies in our immediate AO. Hello, Zorelius from Kurdistan. Awesome, man. Welcome to the stream. If we were on our Twitch stream, we would do like some Kurdistan music, but we're not going to be able to get away with that here on YouTube. Yeah, the HQ, I don't believe he can open fire. It's always good to check. You know, this guy can fire mortars if need be, but we don't have any immediate targets except this one. Yeah, let's go ahead and call in mortars on him. And I'm just going to make sure we don't have any additional units or reinforcements. You never know in this game. Let's see if any have arrived. No. And let's see if we have any reinforcements scheduled. No. So this is all we have. And for those of you wondering, I am actually playing the campaign. This is the Yom Kippur campaign for the Israeli armored columns. There are so many scenarios in this game, and maybe we'll take a look at them afterwards. So many different scenarios in this game for a number of different wars. This is a fairly easy start, I believe. Could be mistaken, but I think it's a fairly easy start for a campaign. So here we go, and it's going to get more complicated as we go along. Yep, let that infantry out, and I'm just going to put the infantry on our victory point here, and just have them defend that location with their lives. We'll also allow the Nagmash to stay behind and help defend. And even this tank. Insert Owen Wilson. Wow, exactly, Pietro. This was one game that I wanted to only stream here on YouTube because, I mean, that's one of the benefits of the awesome strategy crowd here is that you're not going to find anybody on Twitch willing to watch Command series. You're just not. So I'm really appreciative of you guys here. Don't forget to hit that like and consider super chatting. We also have to get Stream OBS set up here so that when people super chat, it pops up on the screen and it's cool. I don't think we currently have that. Another Nagamash. I think, oh man. Yeah, I think we leave it here. I don't want to. But I think it's the safe choice to leave an additional infantry unit here. So let's do that. In fact, we'll even be able to engage this guy one more time this turn. Disrupted. Nice. Decent start. And again, these infantry carriers do have their own machine guns. This one didn't have any effect, but, you know, it's good to know that we have that ability. And actually, there's no reason for these tanks to sit around over here. Let's grab both of them, move them over here with the rest of the group, and end the turn. So disrupted means they can't move. However, as you can see, they can still fire. All right, boys, 6 of 15 turns. I think we got the enemy on the ropes. I'm just going to take individual units here, or individual squads. In this case, we take the armored infantry, and we're going to open fire. Nice disruption there. All right, we are disrupting them quite a bit, but without the reductions, they're not losing any men, no wounded or killed, so we've got to get those kills. There we go, enemy unit eliminated. That's what we're looking for, folks. And actually, I'm going to carry forth, or sally forth, with this infantry, because we still got enemies right there. So let's push forward. Pushing forward with the infantry vehicle, too, and I'm going to engage any enemies that get into this town of Romani. That's an absolute no-no. Also because they can get behind our lines, and believe it or not, this game, you know, you were talking about how complex it is earlier, and it is. It's even got a supply aspect to it. So you can cut off supply. If, like, for instance, they were to get to this road, we wouldn't be getting any ammunition or anything over here. So I just love how in-depth this thing is. If anybody wants to look for a date, I don't even know when this game was released, but it is just awesome. And potentially the only game on these Middle East conflicts, really. Yeah, bring in the nukes. Yeah, I don't want to leave this area with too many men, because ultimately we might actually need to defend it against subsequent enemy attacks. However, we can't actually engage that enemy unless we're over here because of the buildings in the way. So, for the good of our army here, I am going to get a little closer and open fire. Man, he is well hidden. Very well hidden. But at this point, it's becoming a game of attrition. Our goal is to hold those points. As long as we can do that, we should be fine. Now, we're going to scout through these bushes, this foliage, to make sure there's no enemy AT. Although I suspect we're going to find something. But maybe not. I've been proven wrong before. Looks like even the Jeep can get up there. The tanks cannot, however. Nope, nothing up here. All right, that's some sneaky anti-tank for sure. Very sneaky anti-tank by the enemy. So as you guys probably know, especially during the Yom Kippur War, the Egyptians, the Syrians were learning Israeli tactics. And in this case, what they're doing is the good old-fashioned hit and run. They fired some AT, and then they just fall back, probably behind Bir El Mel. And actually, we can see them right there. These actually look like mortars, but I think they could be anti-tank guided missiles, so I want to be careful here. This is 1973. Certainly could be anti-tank guided missiles, and let's see if we can target them. We certainly can. Our Centurion has visuals. Hey, Kutei, Allah Sidia Bashar. We're going to have to do after this. We're currently playing the Israeli campaign. We are definitely going to do a Syrian campaign. I think there's actually a Syria versus Egypt campaign, or there's also a Syria versus Israel campaign. Believe me, we're going to do that at some point. I was really just curious to see if anybody would be willing to watch this, because again, it's a very old game. It's not typically what people would expect me to play. So if people watch it, hit that like button, drop comments. maybe throw some bits or super chat, or, you know, especially what will really make me happy, follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Twitch, Centurions. Then maybe I can play this again, and maybe even make it like a weekly series, because the content in this game is unbelievable. When I say, I mean, you could play every single scenario and every single campaign in this game. It would take you years. It really would. It's incredible. So this is currently, we're playing the Israeli tank scenario for the Yom Kippur War, where we're supposed to lead a tank column to victory, basically. There we go. We just destroyed one of the AT positions. I'm going to keep hitting them. Just eliminating that threat. But again, guys, we can't let them delay us. We have to continue on to the airfield here. So I'm going to grab this group of tanks. In fact, what I'm going to do, make them a little bit stronger. We'll merge these guys. And in fact, I don't know if we have any moderators here, do we? I'd like the moderators to just, when you can, drop the Discord and the Twitch channels so people know where to find them. We have a lot of fun on Discord. For goodness sakes, we've got a meme lord on Discord. How is the AI? I think the AI is tremendous. I mean, you could see here the hit and run tactics they're using, which is pretty cool. There is multiplayer. I've never tried it myself, so I hesitate to comment on it, because, you know, a lot of these older games won't necessarily have the best multiplayer, but I think it's a play-by-email system, so it should be alright. Shouldn't be much of an issue. Alright, so I'm remaining at the Romani area. We might still have one shot here with the tank against their infantry. Let's do that. Definitely don't have reinforcements, that's for sure. See how far we are from that airfield. Still gonna take a little while. I'm trying to speed ahead a little bit here. We don't want to separate our tank groups too much, but as long as we have one beefy sort of spearhead, I think we're gonna be okay. Again, these Centurions, as you can see there, are able to spot enemies at range and really put a hurting on them. So far, no contacts over here. So I wonder if the enemy has just given up on the Romani area, or if they're preparing for a larger attack. We haven't seen any enemy armor yet, so I'm guessing it's just going to be anti-tank guided missile teams here opposing us. Let's find out. Oh boy, they did disrupt one of our teams. 2015. Wow, so it's a recent release, pretty recent. It's not ancient. Unfortunately, you know, very few people play these games, and they actually charged us there, guys. That was a commando unit. Egyptian commandos just charged our tanks out of the region here. We're going to have to respond viciously, of course, shut that threat down completely. So I'm grabbing every single one of the units in this tile and opening fire on the enemy. We could also try to charge them, but I'm not risking a charge against commandos. Boom. Yep, managed to reduce and disrupt them. Nice. We're going to fire again. Managed to disrupt them again. Not too shabby. Now, I am tempted to move forward with this armored infantry over here to start firing, but I am not leaving that victory point location. No way. What I might do, if I can reach them... There we go. Thank goodness for that heavy machine gun. Can at least keep them under fire at a distance. I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't find any AT over here. You know, we went out looking for it, and seemingly for no reason whatsoever. So let me actually grab a few of these vehicles, specifically the infantry transports, and I'm just going to bring them back to help us destroy this guy. So let's bring this guy back. Open fire on that enemy in Romani. With the rest of our guys, I want to continue straight for the airfield. Look at that group of tanks. In this particular mission, for those of you wondering, we've actually been tasked with protecting the Suez Canal from an Egyptian advance. So, seemingly it could be a tank advance, but the reports have really been Egyptian commandos and para units being dropped behind our lines. So hopefully we'll only have to deal with them and not enemy tanks, although we're prepared for any eventuality. And again, I want to get that strong tank group going again, so I'm not going to advance with these guys this turn. I'm just going to try and merge this tank with them. Maybe bring some additional units forward. Unfortunately, this M12 is not carrying any infantry, but it can still serve as an infantry deterrent, so pushing him forward too to add himself to this group. Also, they kind of act as cannon fodder if you're getting shot at with RPGs. I hate to admit that, but it's true. Sorry, I gotta do one of these every now and again, folks. Boom. Okay. Hopefully he can get up there as well, and then we would have two very large tank groups. The one disadvantage is, you know, we let almost all of our infantry out. Well, yeah, we let all of our infantry out at that previous town. So we're going to have to take this airfield with tanks exclusively. From what I understand, it's an open area, so we can probably do it, but it can always cause some problems. In fact, I'm still looking for it. There it is. No, it isn't a small town. Yep, could be an issue. Could be an issue. All right, let's just hope our guys will deal with that threat next turn. I love that. I love that. Peter Joubert Vandermeer. As the great Lord Farquaad once said, some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. What I love, too, is that it's one of the few villains that shares my personality archetype of INFP. Now, mostly, INFPs are mostly, we're nice people, but when we're villains, those are the kind of villains we are. Like, we're very obvious about our intent. We don't hide it, and it's like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to defeat you. And then, of course, the person can simply, prepare for X, Y, and Z. We're not very, what's the word I'm looking for? Our intrigue isn't great. Our intrigue levels are pretty poor. Let's open fire here. Still alive. And of course, that commando unit's going to be tough. I almost want to do a charge just to show you guys how it's done, but I risk kind of hurting myself in this fight. What the hell, though? Yeah, here's how a charge is done. Let's go ahead and do it. And let's hope that we beat this Egyptian commando unit. We've got an infantry unit attacking, an APC, several tanks. Now, we can go over here, and we can resolve the assault now. We could also wait, and we can add additional units to the assault. So, for instance, I could take this tank, do this, and now the tank is part of the assault. You can also do it just by clicking these plus buttons and then selecting the unit, but no need to overwhelm you guys with that much information right now. Let's resolve it. Damn, you see what I'm saying? Now, thankfully, there was no effect. We didn't actually take any damage, but they stopped our assault. This is why when you're facing commandos, you're gonna have an issue. Yeah, these guys are tough as nails. Just as tall as him. All right, we're starting to advance towards the airport. Let's stop outside this village, because I suspect there's going to be enemies waiting for us. No? Staying on the road here. Really don't want to get off the beaten path. Where did that shot come from? That looks like it might just be infantry, probably over here. Let's send one tank forward to scout. Yup, what do you know? And again, Terminator policy, kill on sight. Every single one of our tanks just fired there, reducing their number and forcing them to retreat. I think we might, Kute. We might. I'm not sure. I don't think we have Gallipoli, but we've got some other really cool stuff. Like, for instance, hardly anybody talks about, or at least I've never been exposed to, the history of the state of Israel and how it, like, came to be, you know, shortly after World War II. And you've got, like, the fights against the British, you know, like, British commando raids. You've also got, like, the Battle of Algiers. You've got, like, the uprising in Algeria against the French. A lot of really fascinating stuff. All right, we're through one town, but with one of our shut guy eliminated. And that's not our APC. That's one of our Centurions. So we've got to keep our eyes open. And already I spot it right there. You see that? Anti-tank guided missile. Let's see if we get at least one shot before next turn. No effect. See, this is much more threatening than that infantry unit. Let's get rid of this threat. Okay, so he does not have the range of the Centurion. Makes sense. Oh, we're going to actually have to move forward to fire at this guy. Well, we all need to move there anyway, so you know what? Might as well make it a group move. And now I'm going to just shoot individually, because I want to be able to move the rest of the tanks towards the airfield. There we go. Reduced and retreated. We didn't get a complete... We didn't completely destroy them, but it's a good start. And I'm going to push these guys forward. We know the village is, for the most part, empty now, so we're going to head that way. If I can spot one more enemy unit, I'd take this shot. In fact, I'm going to try. I think this is too far, though. Yeah, way too far. We're just getting to the edge of the village here. Some of the folks need to stay behind. That's okay. Nothing we can do about that. Darwin Bonds! Old game like me. No, I mean, I was shocked, Darwin, you know, finding out that this is actually, what, a 2015 release, evidently? So it looks like there are still some companies willing to make exceptionally awesome strategy games. I don't know what we're going to do about those Commandos, guys. That we have attacked them and hit them with everything. They're just kind of hanging out in the buildings, not really allowing us to do much. But we are getting closer and closer to that airfield. Let's end the turn. Holy hell. We also got some approaching enemy infantry. They are forcing some of our Centurions to fall back, but no reductions yet. Good shooting, boys. Right, 9 of 15. Look at that. One of the HEGM groups is now on the border of Romani. This was not here before. Let's see if we can eliminate. Ooh, I'm hoping he can't see us. I mean, we certainly can't see him because of the stone wall here. Let's hope the same rule applies. Or maybe we should exit and try to engage. I'm not going to do that. I mean, we're holding our points. Why risk it, right? Why risk death for no reason? Now, as for these guys, we do have to eliminate these targets. Let's make that happen. Nice! Got that mortar attack, force the enemy to retreat. And now let's get the Centurions to target them as they run away. Hopefully their cover is also not as great. Now, range is important here, so range does come into account. The farther they are, the harder a chance we have to actually hit them. There we go. We're forcing them to retreat, but no disruption and no reduction, which is not great. All right, these guys are going to target the infantry specifically. And again, no effect. That rough terrain does help a lot of the times. How you doing, Michael? I don't know what, I don't read Hebrew, but, yeah. I'm hoping that's something good. Alright, here we go. So we're going to push on through. This is going to be a true leapfrog maneuver. We have to keep one unit behind to engage the existing AT that's targeting us, but we also have to keep on moving towards the airfield. So let's just... I'm going to micromanage this, just to make sure he remains on the road. Oh! Should disrupted one of our tanks. You know what? We have time. We have time. Ooh, we can't fire yet. The field is getting in our way. Never mind. Keep pushing. Alright, let's stay here. And I'm hoping the field will stop them from visualizing us as well. Although I don't think it works that way. Make sure we don't have any other enemies here. Not that I can see. But let's get this heavy machine gun unit back. Actually, look at that. I almost missed it, but enemy unit in the palm groves, or in the olive groves, I should say. We could have played Shamo Aleichem if we were on Twitch, for sure. I love that song. Oh, it's really, really good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good suggestion, Mike. A commando unit has been eliminated, guys, finally. And it took a centurion to do it, but we got rid of him finally. Yep, that's going to be it for now. End the turn. So a few units low on ammo. This does occasionally happen, but the reason it's happening here is our HQ is likely not close enough, although we've got our HQ right there, so we should be okay. Ah, you know why? Because the HQ isn't close to these units, the tanks. Alright, still trying to destroy any enemies along the way. Again, the ATGMs are really the main threat, so I'm going to put my focus on them. Nice, disrupted. But again, the only thing disruption does is stops them from moving. They can still fire if they're disrupted. Trying to reach that location before the Egyptian army does. All right, folks. Here we go. Surprised at how much distance we could cover. We're very close to the objective point. And let's just try to have this tank join up with his buddies over here. Of course, we're still going to have... Yep, look at that. They're still firing at a distance, and for all we know, they could have additional ATGM locations, you know, secreted away in these hills, in these groves, etc. I almost said mangroves. No, we're not fighting in the Pacific. And if we take a look over here, we can actually see an enemy radio operator over here near Bir El Maler. So if we would like, we could actually do a little side mission and try and go kill that guy. I'm going to send a tank out. I'm also going to bring the machine gun crew and this infantry unit and try and engage that radio. So we're going to have to move up quite a bit, but that would be a worthwhile target to take out, for sure. They can call in artillery strikes, they can give away our positions to their troops, etc. So I'm going to start advancing over here to Bir El Maler to take out that unit. A search and destroy mission, if you will. Come on, boys. I'll even bring one of these infantry vehicles. Okay, I think that's about all we can do. Just making sure I don't see any enemies around us, and I think we're good. Okay, they are desperate. They're getting desperate. They're right on the road ahead of us here. Directly ahead of us. I'm not even going to focus on them with this tank. I am rushing straight towards the location. Let's not get too hasty, though. We'll stop at the edge of the village like we typically do. I'm almost certain that we're going to get shot at. We still got the ATGM behind us. I'm trying to ignore it. Because if I can secure that point, I'm going to be very happy. Oh. Oh, no, no, no. I don't want to do an assault. So if we don't want to continue with the assault, we can actually simply either cancel it here. There we go. Or if you want to, just don't resolve the assault and it won't be resolved. Looks like an enemy anti-tank team. Let's eliminate him. No effect. We should have probably gone for the assault. Although without infantry, it's not exactly going to work out very well. Not as intended. But again, we are getting to our objective zone. The rest we can ignore. We can ignore the enemy, etc., as long as we protect our given objectives. All right, let's continue that search and destroy mission over here. Speaking of search and destroy missions, keep trying to hit that ATGM at distance with this tank. Okay, so look at that. I no longer see the radio operator here at Ber El Nalir. However, I do see some enemies there. Let's engage. Could be commando units. Unfortunately, we don't have enough recon information to know, but I'm still opening up on them. They're certainly not our units. That's all we need to know. There we go. Retreated. No, it's an anti-tank guided missile unit for sure. Nice. Disrupted. So we're temporarily not looking for the radio guys just to take that target out. And we reduced. Again, anytime you see reduction, what that means is that the unit has taken casualties or some men have been killed. Just a little food for thought. I don't think there's any reason here to leave Romani. I'm just going to remain there. And there actually is another location over here. Let's take a look. Okay, so essentially holding these objectives. If you ever just want to see sort of the victory information, etc., you can look over here to see who's got more victory points. So let's see. Side A, major defeat. We have all the victory points, but minus 70, so perhaps we have to kill some more of the enemy. Or maybe we're side B. We'll have to wait and see. But what I'm going to do, just to be safe, is once we get to the airfield, I'm going to proceed forward and go over here to this area. Okay, let's end the turn. Next, indeed. Oh boy. We knew they were going to get pretty aggressive here towards the end, and they are definitely trying to stop that push to the airfield. In fact, they're retreating towards the airfield location, so it's very evident right now what they plan to do. 12 of 15, 3 turns left, folks. And I want that airfield more than they do. Let's push in. You guys will get to see that assault. Oh, yes. Also completely eliminated the unit. And I believe we can even make it to our victory location here. I feel quite a bit safer. Now, there's still anti-tank guided missiles up here. Look at that. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like we can target them right now. But we can target them, I think, with this group. Over at the ruins. Perfect location to hide an ATGM, of course. And we did get some disruption amongst their group. Let's keep firing. I just want to target the ATGMs. I think they're the biggest threat. There we go, disrupted. But we're not getting much reduction. That's the first time we got a retreat on that unit. He's taken an absolute beating since the beginning of this match. Engage from the olive groves. Even at the distance here, our armored infantry is going to engage. Completely eliminated. That's what I'm talking about. So as far as I'm concerned, Romani is not under threat in the slightest. The only thing that would be under threat would be this location. I suspect this location as well. Let's end that turn. Take care, Pietro. Thank you so much for stopping by, man. Oh, I will stream later. What I planned to do after this was to stream some Warhammer 2 with the orcs on Twitch. I really want to win the campaign. I think I'm pretty close to winning the campaign in that game. Alright, again, we're just going to fully target the enemy south of the ruins. Oh, that's an obstacle we're going to have to deal with. Again, as long as we hold the point, though, I'm not too concerned. Not bad. So we actually did reduce a bit there. Not bad at all. I mean, I guess there's no reason for us not to engage these enemy units that still exist in the area. Try to reduce their numbers, but I'm not moving out of these locations. I feel like as long as we can hold this, that's going to be perfect. I'm still looking for that enemy radio operator, though. I won't stop that search. So let's head south in the Bir El Maler area. Maybe we'll find them over here. What do you know? What do you know? Speak of the devil. He's right there, folks. We actually can destroy the enemy radio operator. I'm gonna start opening, and we eliminated him. That's gonna have to get that tanker a medal for sure. Destroying, just imagine destroying an enemy radio communications group. That's huge. So the Egyptians are not going to be able to get any visuals on Romani, I don't believe. I think the stream's been pretty stable. Yeah, no, it's been green the whole time. All right, and the turn. Here we go. Trying to get awfully close. Now, desperation kicks in. Look at how close they're moving with those anti-tank guided missiles. 3 different AT groups approaching from all sides. Let's send just 1 tank north to engage. Just 1. Oh, yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, there's, I mean, not much I can do about it right now, unfortunately. This is the only way I can kind of see what you guys are saying in the chat. All right, there we go. Disrupted and eliminated an ATGM team. Let's try and target this one. Now, where did they get all these anti-tank guided missiles? Oh, our friends the Soviets? 1973, had to be. All right, I'm going to end the turn there. Oh, yes. Now they're going to work with their ATGMs and any tanks that we leave out there on the street, understandably getting chopped to bits. How you doing, Captain Rex? I believe it's going to be 15 of 15 turns, folks. We'll do everything we can to eliminate additional enemy units here for the end, but there we go. That should be it. They retreated, but again, no losses. So the AI is smart enough to know when to retreat without accruing losses. I think that alone shows that it's pretty decent AI. There you go. Now, there we go. Reduced some, so we actually killed some of the infantry there. Okay, let's hope that's a victory. Next turn. Thank you so much, Ken Doggy. You are the man, dude. And Ken Doggy is also the only Centurion on this channel. He's really, really generous here. He's offering $10 a month to have that title of Centurion. The guy's awesome, and I really do appreciate it when people do that. So I think we probably had to do, like, a specific thing here. We got side A major defeat. Again, you never know with the scenarios if it's side A or side B. I'm pretty sure we lost. We probably had to get to an exit point. But what it said was kind of defend the existing location. So what I'm going to show you guys, because a lot of people are wondering, like, just how massive this game is. And it's pretty amazing. Hold on one second. All right, guys. If we go into just scenarios here, right? I can't read all of these out or describe all of these, but let's just take a look at the right side. I don't know if I can make this any larger, and I'm going to kind of go through this slowly so that you can see the different wars, the different scenarios we can play, and you can also look at the lower right-hand side to see, like, sort of the map or the conflict. So, for instance, there's even a French versus Algeria conflict. Unbelievable, guys, like the battle for Algiers. We've got Operation Rhodes, of course, Israel versus Egypt. There's a bunch of different boot camps to learn the game, but frankly, I just kind of learned by doing, just by kind of playing. Tremendous amount of Arab-Israeli war scenario. And if you want to get, like, super, super controversial, I'm just going to speed down, because to get all the way to the bottom, we have to speed down quite a bit. If we go north here, number one, we have a Britain versus Libya sort of special operations missions, but we've also got the Intifada. So you can play the Intifada on either side, on Israel or the Palestinians. Look at that. Unbelievable. Like, the amount of things you can play here. It's just really, really, really ridiculous. Let's take a look here. Yes, indeedy. All right, well, thank you so much, Ken Doggy. And yeah, please do what Ken Doggy says. Hit that like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I wanted to give you guys kind of a visual here of this game and see if maybe we can play it in the future. It could be something that we could touch again. However, I'm getting an itch for some orc warfare, so I'm going to be heading to Twitch now and doing some of that Warhammer 2 Total War. Even those of you that aren't necessarily fans of fantasy genres, like I wasn't, but I gave the game a chance, and I've been having a blast. We also have a lot of fun in Twitch. There's a lot of things we can do there that we can't do here. You bet I'm going to do a Twitch sermon at the end of every stream. You know, we can play music, we can watch documentaries, like really, I would really recommend you guys to join. And at the very least, join our Discord server, so that you can, you know, follow up with the rest of the channel on kind of what we're doing, the community events we do, etc., etc. Is it just countries, or are there insurgents as well? Oh, there are insurgents, my friend. In fact, let me try to find. Well, like, so for instance, now this is a very, very subjective conflict, so I'm not saying that one side are insurgents or the other, but if we want here, we can play as the Palestinians. We don't have to play as Israel. So I'll just give you a quick view here. So I'm going to take manual on side B, and I'm going to make Israel a computer with fog of war. You can also change, like, advantage, gives more of an advantage to side A or side B. And there's actually, forget where I found this. It might be on the Steam discussion page. No, it's not on Steam. What am I talking about? It might be on the Matrix forums. Somebody gives you, like, a really good indicator of where this should be for every battle. Right now, we're keeping it right there in the middle. And let's see if we can play as Palestine. So look at this. The first phase is going to be Israel. Here we've actually got, like, protesters, and they're firing tear gas. These are tear gas vehicles. They've also got riot police, so you can move in with riot police. And as the Israeli player in this intifada, you actually lose points for attacking civilians with, like, lethal munitions. But at the same time, we've got some sort of freedom fighters here, some fighters that are part of the intifada with weapons that can engage the Israelis. But this just goes to show you, like, I'm just giving you an example of how in-depth this game can be. You know, it's amazing. It really is. Everything from the smallest conflict to the largest conflict in the Middle East is available. I think with the exception of, and I'm really upset that they don't have this, with the exception of the Iran-Iraq war. From what I understand, there are no Iran-Iraq war scenarios. Anyway, guys, once again, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to try to stream here on Twitch for a bit, so if you'd like to see me there, I would appreciate it. But I'm going to catch you on the next one and give you a huge thank you, folks. All right, boys, take care.